Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dig into something pretty deep, the difference between impossibility and limitation. It might seem like a small detail, but you're about to see how changing just one word can completely transform our understanding of some really big ideas.
All right, let's just jump right in with a question that sounds like a classic philosophical riddle, but it's way more than that. Can an all-powerful being do something that is, logically impossible? Like, could they create a rock so heavy they couldn't lift it? Or maybe draw a square circle? What does that even mean?
So, to really get to the bottom of this, let's start with a phrase. I guarantee you've heard it before, probably in some inspiring context.
Now, on the one hand, this sounds incredibly powerful, right? It speaks to this idea of an ultimate being who's just not bound by our rules. But if you look a little closer, there's a huge logical problem hiding in plain sight here.
This is where we step into what you could call a semantic trap. The words sound good, they feel good, but they lead us down a path that just doesn't make any logical sense. Let's break that down.
Okay, let's get serious for a second. If you take the phrase doing the impossible literally, what are we actually talking about? Does it mean being able to exist and not exist at the exact same time? It starts to get really weird really fast. Let's use a more concrete example, like the relationship between a creator and their creation. And here is where that flawed thinking leads to a complete paradox. If you say a creator can do anything, does that mean the creator could literally become the universe it created? Well, no, because the definition of a creator is that it is separate from its creation. To become the creation, it would have to stop being the creator. It's a contradiction in terms. It's just a non-starter, logically speaking.
So, here's the big reveal. The entire problem comes from us accidentally mixing up two totally different concepts: true, logical impossibility, and plain old limitation. And once you see the difference, everything clicks into place.
You see, true impossibility isn't some great mountain to be climbed or a challenge to be overcome. It's a conceptual dead end. It's an idea that just cancels itself out. It's like asking someone to draw a four-sided triangle. It's not hard, it's just nonsense. There's no potential for it to exist, not even as an idea in your head.
And this, I think, is such a cool way to reframe how we think about human progress. A couple hundred years ago, people would have said human flight was flat out impossible. But was it a logical impossibility, like a four-sided triangle? Of course not. It was a technological limitation. We were limited, not the fundamental laws of physics.
And that's exactly what limitation is. It's a boundary that applies to us, to created things. It's all about our current capacity, our knowledge, our tools. These are the kinds of barriers that absolutely can be overcome, but they are a world away from a fundamental logical contradiction.
Okay, so now that we have this new tool in our toolkit, this clear line between impossibility and limitation, we can go back to that original popular phrase and, well, fix it. We can reframe it in a way that's much more precise and, honestly, a lot more powerful.
So check this out. Here's one much better way to put it. Instead of what is impossible, try this. What is not possible for us can be possible for God. Did you catch that shift? We swapped the absolute final word impossible for the relative phrase not possible for us. That one little change acknowledges our constraints without trying to break logic itself.
Or here's another phrasing that's maybe even sharper. What is limited for creation, God is not limited by his creation. Now this gets right to the point. The issue isn't about doing illogical things. It's about the simple fact that the boundaries that define us, the creation, just don't apply to the creator.
And a third, super precise way to say it is this. What is limited for creation, God's power is not limited over his creation. I really like this one because it captures the dynamic perfectly. Ultimate power works over and beyond our specific constraints. It doesn't need to be illogical to be absolute. It just needs to be unlimited by the very things it made.
Okay, so we've been playing with words, swapping impossible for limited. And you might be sitting there thinking, so what? Does this really matter? Well, yeah, it matters a lot. This precision in language is actually crucial. Because getting this right protects two really big core ideas. First, it respects that an infinite being is, by its very nature, unlimited, and yeah, probably beyond our full comprehension. And second, it makes it clear that our limitations don't act like some kind of cage for the one who created those limitations in the first place. This gives us a coherent idea of ultimate power that doesn't just fall apart in a logical trap.
And that really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. Shifting our language from impossible to limited isn't just some small grammatical edit.
It's a massive shift in thinking that protects logic while still affirming this idea of boundlessness. It really goes to show you that using precise language isn't just about being correct for the sake of it. It's about building a stronger, more profound, and more coherent way to understand the biggest ideas out there.